What's up everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Harrison and you are here for Tutorial Tuesday. What is Tutorial Tuesday? I'm glad you asked. Tutorial Tuesday is every single Tuesday I teach you how to draw some of your favorite characters. And today is the most evil little kid in all of the Dragon Ball Z universe. Kid Buu. So grab your pencils, pens, sketchbooks, and your Dragon Balls and let's jump on into this one. So right away we are throwing Kid Buu right into a boxed frame. In the center of our page, actually probably more like 2/3 of our page, we are going to draw a large square. And in the top half of that square, go ahead and draw a circle. This is going to be Kid Buu's head. We can then start shaping the head to look exactly like Kid Buu. The front of his face has a concave curve and then goes into a straight line for the jaw, and then a flat line for the chin, and then up to the back of the circle, which then we can round off for the skull. It's okay if the top of the circle exceeds the box, we just need that there for guidelines. We can add a few humps for his neck and then a curve for his shoulder. If this pose looks odd, it's okay. Kid Buu is in 3/4 like this, so we are getting this part of the face, and then we can get the right side of his body, which is going to be a really stretched out S curve all the way to the base of the chin. We can dash in the pectoral muscles on the right side, which is the left side of screen. We're gonna draw a C shape that turns into almost a stretched out W. Then we can add the base of his left bicep, which is on the far right side. And this is the shapes that we need to get the majority of Kid Buu to this final stage. So we can start adding some detail. If you want to add the separation of his pectoral muscles, you can dash in a line, add the tops of the muscles, which is going to look like that classic kindergarten bird drawing shape. You can dash in the lines for his neck muscles. On the top third of his head, just off center, we can start to draw in his antenna. You can draw a guideline from the base of the chin going all the way up if it helps you make that swoop. We want one continuous line just to make sure that we have that nice curve. And if it helps you cut his face in half to help you find that center line, feel free to do that. Kid Buu's antenna is actually very long, so you're gonna want it to swoop back just to the other side of the top third of his head. And then for the underside of the antenna, you're gonna wanna mimic that same curve. At the tip of the antenna, don't forget the little ball shape. And now for Buu's eyebrow lines. They are going to be jutted out from his forehead. So just on that guideline where that concave curve is, you're gonna draw a C shape that swoops down in, and then you're gonna draw a almost like a curved check mark. For Buu's eyes, they are very boxy. You're almost gonna draw a rectangle shape and then mimic that same shape on your right side of the page, just a little bit bigger. Remember, his head is turned away from you, so his eye would look a little bit bigger on this side. If you can see in perspective, this eye looks smaller than this one just because it is closer to the camera. So we do want to mimic that here as well. You can also see that the pupils are looking out and down, so we want those to be facing that way, out towards the page and downwards. Remember, Buu has no nose, so we don't need to draw that, and we're gonna jump down to his mouth. It's going to be a similar shape to the eye, a stretched out rectangle. The bottoms of the mouth are curved down. We can dash in a few little wrinkle lines. I erased some of the head guidelines so that I could add the ear and shape some things a little bit differently. So I made Buu's antenna a little bit higher up. I wanted it to go a little higher up off of his forehead and back. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. If you're happy with the positioning of your antenna, leave it the way you have it. For Buu's ear, it is a cone shape. If you followed along on my Frieza tutorial, you know this exact shape. Akira Toriyama loved his alien ears. He always stuck to them. Unless you were from Namek, you pretty much had these weird cone-shaped ears. So you're gonna draw a almost like the bottom of a cupcake or a muffin, and then you're gonna draw a circle on the inside for the interior hole of the ear. And then we can't forget all of the steam vents on Buu. He's got a couple on his shoulder, a few on his pectoral muscles, and these look like the number 6. And then shade in all of those holes so we can ink them black later. And then for his eyes, you're gonna wanna fill in all the whites. He does have black retinas. And then using a ruler, I'm going to redraw the box just so that it is very perfect, very precise. And the last little bit of detail I'm adding is a word box. and it just is going to have an exclamation point and a question mark. This is right out of the manga. There's a moment in time during the fight where Kid Buu is looking down and he just has that expression, and I just loved it and I wanted to recreate it. And now for the inking. As always, we are using my handy dandy dip pen. You do not need to use a dip pen to achieve the inks in this one. You can use a Sharpie, fine liner, a ballpoint pen. You want to use a black pencil, go for it. You do not need to know how to use a dip pen to get these inking techniques. If you would like to know how to use a dip pen and know where to get one, please let me know down in the comments below, and I will be happy to create a tutorial and give you all the information on dip pens. But as always, I am inking left to right, top to bottom. I'm going very slow, very precise. I know that the time lapse kind of throws it off. Every line I make is very precise, very deliberate and slow. When inking, especially with a dip pen, you want everything to be controlled. You don't want to have sketchy lines, so everything should be super deliberate. My favorite thing about the dip pen is just knowing that I have the full control over the flow of the ink just by applying or letting up on pressure. Because it's such a fine tip, it's perfect for tiny details. Now today, erasing is not our last step, but as always, please wait 15 to 20 minutes before you erase. You don't want your inks to smudge. It's happened to me way too many times, and I really would hate if it happens to you. So just wait that time. You never know how your ink's gonna react to your paper. Just let it sit, let it dry. Just take a step back. It's a perfect time to take a look at your hard work before you finish. I am using a kneaded eraser and just going lightly in circles and trying to pick up a lot of those pencil lines that we put down. And then as the last step here, I am using my brush pen and I am filling in all of the areas that I want inked black. So the exclamation mark, the question mark, and Buu's eyeballs. And now for our very, very last step of today's process. I'm using a wide flat tip nib for the dip pen. This is a calligraphy nib. It's meant for having nice smooth strokes for doing calligraphy. I am using it to create a nice thick border for Buu here. If you're going to use a dip pen, even if you're going to use a Sharpie, use a ruler if you want a nice crisp edge. Otherwise, you might slip, you might have a little bit of a wonky line. I always will recommend using the tool that will help you get the best desired outcome. That's what these tools are for. They're tools to help you achieve the thing you're trying to achieve. Don't be a hero by not using a ruler. You're never gonna get a straight line. I don't care how good you are at drawing. Use the ruler because you'll get a perfect straight line every time. And there we have it. There is Kid Buu. I love it. Kid Buu is one of my favorite villains. I think it's just great. The amount of time that Buu had evolved over the course of Dragon Ball Z is just fantastic, and to think that his tiniest, smallest iteration is his most powerful is just super cool. And at that time it was super new. Now I feel like it's definitely overrun with in all sorts of different anime and manga. But anyway, I love Kid Buu and I love this drawing. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you got something out of today's lesson, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And once you do, hit that bell notification so you know when I upload the next tutorial. If for some reason you did not like today's video, please let me know down in the comments below why. Is there something I can do better to help you achieve the drawings that you want to know how to draw? And on that note, if there's a character that you have yet to see in the playlist, please let me know who that is. I would love to teach you how to draw the characters that you want to know how to draw. We'll gladly add them to our ongoing list. If you've been following along with Tutorial Tuesday for the last few months, I would love to see the work that you're doing. Please tag me in your Instagram and TikTok posts. And then you can also follow me there and see all the other things that I'm doing day to day. Thank you so much for joining me on another awesome Tutorial Tuesday. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Remember to keep drawing, keep practicing, never give up, and I will see you back here next week for another awesome, fun tutorial. Bye, guys.
No, that can't